I mean, enough is enough already. The Cleveland Browns are the franchise that selected Shedeur Sanders. The Cleveland Browns, it appears, have put out a clear and concise plan on how they are going to handle Shedeur Sanders. As far as the national media is concerned, just let it go. Nobody cares. We're going to break it down. Browns 3D on the OBR streaming network begins now. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound Browns 3D on the OBR streaming network. I am your host, Jeff Lloyd. We appreciate all of you for the support here for the OBR, whether it's coming to the OBR.com daily for your favorite content on the Browns from this fantastic group of writers that we have here at the OBR. While you're there, look into the Insider package. I highly recommend it. You will get the Insider Forums. I'm sorry, the VIP package. You will get the Insider Forums. You will get access to Ask the Insiders. After a small amount of time, you will also get a Paramount Plus subscription along with that. Who doesn't like free stuff, right? So buy one, get one. Always works for everybody. Also, big thanks to everybody that supports us here and comes out every evening to the OBR streaming network beginning at 6 o'clock. Browns 3D here at 6 o'clock. All eyes on Cleveland coming on at 7. Brad Ward, Casey Kinnaman will be behind the mic, so make sure you stick around for that. As we are ready, we are on the eve of the Cleveland Browns returning back to football preseason game number 1 Friday night, 7 o'clock in Carolina against the Panthers. Make sure you are subscribed to the OBR on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the OBR over on Twitch as well. We are working towards having some of us get together for a post-game show tomorrow night immediately after the game. You will have a pre-game that will go off at 6. So once again, the OBR is always here for you because you all are always here for us. I'm going to preface this right now. I think I'm beyond the point where I'm agitated and aggravated with the national media. I think I'm actually pissed off. Everybody wants to critique the Cleveland Browns. The same people who were critiquing Shedeur Sanders. The Cleveland Browns were the ones that ended the draft slide and eventually selected Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. Let's keep that in mind. No disrespect to Shedeur Sanders. That is where he was drafted. He was drafted in the 5th round. If I hear one more national pundit come up with some sort of cockamamie crap saying that the Cleveland Browns are sabotaging Shedeur Sanders, setting him up to fail, I think I'm going to throw up. The Cleveland Browns have done nothing in any way whatsoever to sabotage or set him up to fail. Let's talk about facts. The facts are that there probably is some sort of quarterback competition with the Cleveland Browns right now. There is a competition between two veterans as to who ultimately is going to be the week 1 starter. That competition is going the way of a landslide right now. To be fair, Kenny Pickett missing time and not being able to compete fully for this job certainly isn't helping him. But when he was, Joe Flacco was running circles around him anyway. There is a competition between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders as to who can find their way to the higher spot on the depth chart. More facts. The Cleveland Browns may entertain and may suggest and may, give you a question that makes you think that they may keep 4 quarterbacks on the opening 53, that they may not keep 4 quarterbacks on the opening 53. I don't believe they're keeping 4 quarterbacks. They're going to make up their mind on which veteran should start week 1 against the Cincinnati Bengals. And unless this was over before it started and they never gave Joe Flacco a chance, this competition has been done and will be done. Joe Flacco is your starting quarterback for week 1 against the Cincinnati Bengals. You can say all these nice superlatives about Kenny Pickett. His practice hasn't shown it. The same superlatives you all want to be using for Dylan Gabriel, whose practice to this point has not shown it. You're not going to start 40-year-old Joe Flacco in a week 1 preseason game. You're just not. I don't care if the Carolina Panthers are playing some starters. I don't care if the Cincinnati Bengals are playing some starters. I don't care if the Kansas City Chiefs are playing some starters. It is Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry's call as to who is going to go out on the field for this first preseason game. Plain and simple. Well, the Browns didn't play their starters last preseason. Look how that went. One of the biggest issues for the 2024 Cleveland Browns was that they were massively injured. And this was before they even got to the regular season. Almost everybody in the offensive line was nursing injuries or was rehabbing off of some sort of surgery. We didn't know till like a day or two before week 1 who was even going to start on that offensive line, because that's how long the injuries carried. So that means even by the time the guys got back to the field, they were nowhere near 100%. The Browns' offensive line was not healthy probably till December. And at that point, there were still guys missing. That was one of the reasons the Cleveland Browns were terrible in 2024. They were injured everywhere and were missing a lot of guys. It's not an excuse, but it's a fact. It's also a fact that their quarterback stunk all summer. So with Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett unavailable to play in this first preseason game, with the hopes that they will return next week and be able to go back to a normal workload, why would not Shedeur Sanders be starting this game? He's the one that's been here the entire time. And Joe's going to sit because he's 40 and he should sit. Snoop Huntley's been here for a hot minute. The only other quarterback that will be available for this game. So why in the world would Shedeur Sanders not be starting? Well, he's not getting to play with the ones. Shedeur Sanders hasn't played with the ones yet anyway. It's a preseason game. Oh, the Carolina Panthers are playing some starters. You think the Carolina Panthers are putting starters out there for more than a series? Maybe 2? Where there's a legit shot Shedeur Sanders is probably going to play well into the second half of this game? They're not doing him a disservice. They're not setting him up to fail. He's going to go out there tomorrow night. He's going to quarterback the Cleveland Browns in what is going to be about as vanilla can be. And the Browns are going to evaluate where Shedeur Sanders is at. And if he performs well, they'll probably put more on his plate. It's just that simple. I want Shedeur Sanders to go out there tomorrow night and just be of absolute precision. Give me a 13-16. Maybe a touchdown pass, no interceptions. And then we could tell everybody to go shut the you-know-what. What has gone on for this young man throughout the entire draft process, where basically his name was dragged through the mud for no reason whatsoever? And now, some of these same people who were dragging his name through the mud during the draft cycle are pointing the fingers at the Cleveland Browns, saying they're sabotaging him. They're setting him up to fail. Which way is it, guys? Which one do you want? It's all nonsense. And it's all a look at me, Stephen A. Smith. You're a huge part of all this. Can we just give the kid a chance to go out and do what he's been waiting his entire life to get the opportunity to do? Quarterback an NFL franchise? You certainly aren't going to do this when Arch Manning gets to the NFL. You certainly have had plenty of kids come to the league whose fathers were legends, good players, great players, Hall of Famers. You have never gone to this level of messing with a kid ever. This young man hasn't even taken a snap in an NFL preseason game yet. But yet you're trying to say he's being sabotaged. You are trying to say he's being set up to fail. How about we actually see a couple of drives before we go there? But, this game is going to be Friday night at 7 o'clock. So a lot of these big media who are got these great and wild allegations and takes right now, you probably won't hear again from until Monday morning because that's the kind of effort that goes in. He's going to go out there and he's going to play with Deontay Johnson. He's going to go out there and play with Jamari Thrash, LaFloria, Lavardane. He's going to go out there and play with the guys that he's performed with through rookie camp, through OTAs, through training camp to this point. Throwing him out there with the ones who he pretty much has no timing with, that's doing him a tad bit of a disservice. They want to go out and they want to see him command the huddle. They want to see him command the line of scrimmage. They want to see the guys lined up. They want to see no free snap penalties. These are all things that are going to tell us where Shedeur Sanders is at in this early part of his career. The draft slide made me want to root for this guy even more and more. But the way he's been treated since being in Cleveland, where he has been nothing but a consummate professional, other than a couple of moving violations with his vehicle, ingratiates himself in the community. He's the first one on the practice field, usually the first one off the practice field. Takes every media question and gives a straightforward answer. Shows no detest for the situation he's in. Just talks about how he's going to work and hopefully prove everybody who had any doubts about him wrong. I'm sick and tired of it. I really am. I don't think there's a guy I'm now rooting for harder than I am rooting for Shedeur Sanders. Because for this kid to navigate transitioning from college football, where playing for your father certainly had its ups and downs, and now joining the league, getting drafted much lower than he anticipated, having been pranked because we got an NFL assistant coach who can't shut his laptop and keep his nosy kid away from it. I don't think there's anybody more I'm rooting for currently. And look, obviously, there's some things in his game that needed to be worked on. That certainly had something to do with the fall, not to pick 144, but certainly some things that Shedeur Sanders could have proved upon to give him a better chance of success here in the NFL. But trying to write the story before he has even put on a game jersey, it's disingenuous. It's lazy. Because you know what? If he plays well, most of you won't even come back to the story. You'll just go to something else. And if he does play well, does he get credit? Do the Browns get credit? Do they both get credit? How does that work? Let's give the kid a shot here. He's the most logical guy to start this game. due to the health of that quarterback room and the fact that your starter's 40. So he's going to go out there and he's going to give a good showing. I want him to shut everybody up. I truly do. If I were the Browns, I would go out in 2-minute offense. I would put him in the gun where he's comfortable. You want to go out there in 12 personnel? Go ahead and do it. You want to go out there 4 wide, 10 personnel? Go ahead and do it. That's what I would do. I would put him out there. And I think at this point, Shedeur Sanders is just salivating. Has not played a game since December. I think at this point, his juices are just flowing to actually get back into an actual football game. I'm excited. I'm probably more excited I've been for a preseason game since I was a child. Because I think everybody's taking their shots at this kid, taking their shots at the Browns. He's here. They chose him. Obviously, he wants to become the starting quarterback, hopefully for the next decade for the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns would love nothing more than one of the quarterbacks in that room to step up and show out and maybe change the way that room is viewed right now. Let the kid get his shot. He's earned it. He's already dealt with 2 tons of crap that he shouldn't have. And people just keep finding more and more ways to make it difficult for this kid. The Cleveland Browns are handling Shedeur Sanders like the 5th-round pick that he is. The national media is not. If you're so worried about Shedeur Sanders, stop bringing this stuff up. Because you all weren't worried about him in March and April. Those are facts. Now, a lot of people are having their issues now of Kevin Stefanski not playing starters. This has pretty much been the MO for Kevin Stefanski the entire time he has been here in Cleveland. So in 2020, when the team went to the playoffs, you guys were okay with it then. Well, let's be honest, 2020, there were no preseason games, of course. 2023, when this team went to the playoffs, you guys were okay with it. So what's the problem now? This is who he is. This is how he's done it. This is the way he always had done it. Oh, well, Cedric Tillman should be playing. He hasn't proved anything. Cedric Tillman was hurt in the 2022 season, his final year at Tennessee. Cedric Tillman was hurt in 2023 as a rookie. We all know Cedric Tillman missed a lot of time in 2024. So do we want to put Cedric Tillman out on the field on August 8th and possibly have him getting injured? Wide receiver room's weak as it is. You all know it. You all see it. I see it. You see it. Everybody sees it. So now, and keep in mind, Tillman is basically just returned to practice. So he should be playing. Is this like when Hugh Jackson, was punishing Antonio Callaway years ago by pushing him past the breaking point of a preseason game that he ended up hurting his hamstring in? And the point is, you can't just say, all right, well, he'll play, but he won't. He'll play, but he won't. You're either playing them all or you're not playing any of them. You have 4 members of your offensive line that are over 30 years old. All right now are in complete health. Conklin, Teller, Osick, Batonio. We want to risk them getting dinged again on August 8th? If those 4 aren't playing, there really is no reason DeJuan Jones should play. Putting David Njoku out there for what exactly? What would that do for anybody? Because this is also the thing, like with playing starters, you guys want Myles Garrett out there in a game that means nothing? The whole playing starters, it's maybe it's maybe 5 reps. It's definitely under 10. So to put them out there for single digit amount of reps, people want to believe that the risk is worth it. It's not a shot in hell it's worth it. There's no way whatsoever. This Browns offensive line right now could very well be one of the strengths of this team. Should be one of the strengths of this team. And the reason I say that is because they are in a much better place right now than they were 1 calendar year ago. 1 calendar year ago, DeJuan Jones was well over 400 pounds. He's closer to 350 now. Jack Conklin probably wasn't even practicing yet. Teller, Posick, Bitonio were all coming off things in the offseason last year. These guys are all healthy right now. That's what matters. And it doesn't matter that they're healthy right now. It matters that they're trending towards being healthy week 1. That's what matters. What does it mean for the running backs? I don't know. I don't know what it means, as far as who may play or who not play. If starters aren't playing, does that mean Mason Graham and Carson Schlesinger aren't playing? I'm okay with them not playing, but I wouldn't hate having the rookies start to get some taste for the NFL right away. Browns have 2 decent corners right now, Greg Newsome and Denzel Ward. After those 2, that entire room is basically just an absolute crapshoot. So maybe play them and figure out if any one of these guys can find a way to be a decent, solid contributor to this defense. Because I'm pretty damn sure the Cleveland Browns are in the market for a corner. Everybody thinks this is just so easy and this is just so cut and dry. You've got to play these preseason games. Can't punt on them. So I'd rather you put out the guys who are second and third string so you can see whether or not any of these guys are going to hopefully be able to nail down a role. That's what's important. That is extremely important right now. There's an update on the Quinn Sean Judkins situation. It's not a major update. And I actually reached out to a couple of people on this and, kind of gotten some answers that are completely to the right or to the left. Quinn Sean Judkins has waived his right to a speedy trial, which means that this could not see a courtroom till very well after the Browns season is over. Now, does that mean the Cleveland Browns can now go ahead and work on a contract with Quinn Sean Judkins and get him in here, and maybe any penalty Quinn Sean Judkins is going to see would not affect him until the 2026 season? I guess it's possible. Does this mean Quinn Sean Judkins is just kind of further exiled than, I guess, what Deshaun Watson is right now? I guess it could mean that. How does this work legally? I mean, this works legally where, the prosecution can probably dig maybe deeper into the accusations from the victim saying that this was not a first-time thing. Prosecution could dig into this and say, you want to know what? I don't know if there's enough here that I even want to bring this before a judge. Again, this is legal stuff. It's not in my realm of expertise. It is certainly not what I get paid to talk about. If the Browns were to put Quinn Sean Judkins, name to the contract and get him in here for next week? Is that a poor look? That's difficult to say. Kind of feels like it would be a poor look. But in the same respect, just as the victim has rights, Quinn Sean Judkins is innocent until proven guilty. Again, I'm just telling you the way I see this scenario. You have to take the situation seriously because the victim has rights, of course. But you also have to take the situation seriously because Quinn Sean Judkins is innocent until proven guilty and certainly would not be the first professional athlete that had some things charged against him that maybe turned out to be false. But as far as this update for Judkins, I don't know if this changes anything at all, or does this just solidify the fact that Quinn Sean Judkins, in any way, shape, or form, is maybe not a part of the Cleveland Browns in 2025? Again, don't know. That's all we know, is that he has waived his right to a speedy trial, which means that this could linger well into January after the 2025 regular season is done. We're going to do a pregame tomorrow. We're still working out, with me here now with the OBR as well. It's, how we're going to handle pre-games, post-games. My time with the OBR to this point has obviously been, since January, so there were no games anymore to speak on. Nothing's going to change. It's a minimum of 5 shows a week. I most likely will try to find a way to certainly, get more out, or we'll work on a little bit more, group involvement as far as, the shows where there's 3, possibly 4 of us. Getting excited the game's back. Football's back. Getting very excited about that. But I've just had enough because Shedeur Sanders, in any way, in any stance, this national media is speaking on him, he's being used. He's being used. They know the Sanders name is a lightning rod. So, or Shedeur, who again has been nothing but the consummate rookie quarterback, doing everything that is asked of him, and has shown pretty well, and is certainly deserving of a bigger piece of the pie at this point. He's put in the work more than asked. He's certainly found a way to take some of his own time and contribute to the community, to the kids in the area. You see it on the field. His teammates gravitate to him. So now let's maybe give the kid the opportunity to actually come in and perform the job that he's being asked to do. It's not really that difficult. He's earned it. And God knows this kid had a rough 7 months. Way we spoken about things that were not true. Sure, go out there and shut everybody up tomorrow night. And we can all sit back and have a nice big laugh. We appreciate all of you for coming out, certainly to the OBR.com every single day. Our team of writers, they're just putting really, really solid work out. And this job is fun because obviously we all have a passion for it. Sometimes it's not necessarily the easiest thing, but once you get into the season, this job becomes easier and your juices flow and you just, have a lot more to certainly to cover, a lot more to certainly write about. So make sure you come to the OBR.com every day to check out the great written content from our fantastic group of writers. While you're here at the OBR.com, check into the VIP access. You will get the insider forums. You will also, of course, ask the insiders, become a better Browns fan, a smarter Browns fan. And then when your friends catch on to why you're so smart, mention the VIP access to them as well. Thank you for the continued support of the OBR streaming network beginning at 6 o'clock every evening with Browns 3D. 7 o'clock, you will have All Eyes on Cleveland, Brad Ward, Casey Kinnaman. And tomorrow, it's game day, baby. So make sure you subscribe to the OBR on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the OBR over on Twitch. All of this being said, this has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound. Browns 3D on the OBR streaming network. And we will talk to you all tomorrow.